whether you're the working man who can't afford to fill up his pickup truck with gas because it's now over $2 a liter, or $2.50 if you're buying diesel in some parts of the country. Or maybe you're the 35-year-old living in your parents' basement here in Brampton because house prices have more than doubled. Or maybe you're standing in a big lineup at Pearson Airport that never seems to come to an end. 10% of flights have been canceled because of these excessive and unnecessary ongoing restrictions that don't happen anywhere else in the world. Or maybe you are the visiting student who's lost hope and tragically considered even taking your own life. We see these stories now of the students who are here on visas to start their lives, finding themselves so suffocated and out of control that many are losing hope for their future altogether. Maybe you are the brilliant doctor who practiced medicine in another country around the world for decades and then came to Canada and found out you couldn't get a medical license, and so now you're working in a low-wage job even while we need more doctors. People feel like they're losing control of their lives. Now, why am I running for Prime Minister? Very simply, to put you back in control of your life by making Canada the world's freest nation. That is my purpose in this campaign. That is why I'm running. And so how are we going to do it? Well, for one, we have to tackle inflation. The cost of government has driven up the cost of living. Inflationary deficits mean more dollars chasing fewer goods, which leads to higher prices. Inflationary taxes increases the cost for businesses to produce the goods we buy. The more government spends, the more things cost. So we have to get spending under control. I'm going to cancel Trudeau's $100 billion slush fund, get rid of his $35 billion infrastructure bank, which just exists to protect the profits of large companies. And we're going to defund the CBC to save $1 billion. We're going to give fairness to non-traditional and cultural media. We're also going to bring in a pay-as-you-go law so that every time the government brings in a new dollar of spending, they find $1 of savings to pay for it. We're going to bring back the independence of our central bank so we no longer print money to pay our bills. That money printing has caused the inflation that is destroying our working class paychecks right now. We're going to bring in low inflation mandate again to the government of Canada. Instead of creating more cash, we've got to start creating more what cash buys, build more homes, grow more food, and produce more energy. And we don't have enough homes. You know, we have the fewest homes per capita of any country in the G7, even though we have the most land to build on. Why don't we have more homes? Well, government gatekeepers stand in the way. You try to get a building permit. It could take 5, 6, 7 years. And those costs get passed on to the home buyer. Here in Brampton, we've seen an explosion in the cost of housing. And the mayor, Patrick Brown, has actually raised the development charges, all of which gets passed on to the home buyer. And that's why, one of the reasons why housing is unaffordable here in Brampton. But of course, Patrick Brown is not doing anything about that. He's busy traveling the country looking for a different job rather than doing the job that he already has. And then, so what we need to do is incentivize our cities to speed up building permits so that we can build more homes faster. I'm going to sell off 15% of the federal buildings so that we can convert those into affordable housing for our young people. Remove the gatekeepers. We're going to remove the gatekeepers that stand in the way of our brilliant immigrants. My government is going to sign agreements with the provinces to mandate fast recognition of foreign credentials. So the deal is this: when a newcomer with a professional background applies to work in their field, they should get a yes or no answer from the licensing body within 60 days. And if they are not yet qualified, they should get a small study loan that will allow them to take some time off work and get their license so that they can go from a low-wage job right now to working as engineers, doctors, electricians, and other high-paying regulated occupations. We're going to remove the gatekeepers that stand in the way of our energy production by banning foreign oil from overseas and instead approving pipelines and energy projects so that we can use Canadian energy here in Canada. Right now we're importing 130,000 barrels a day from overseas. Why? We have the third biggest supply of oil in the world. We should use our energy to keep that money here and to keep our energy costs affordable. Finally, we're going to get rid of the carbon tax so that we can lower the cost of gas, home heat, and other essentials, bring down the cost of living. These ideas are exciting a whole new generation of voters. Young people, new Canadians, big city residents are signing up. 312,000 members have joined our party to vote for me in particular through my web portal. And I have called on the party to publish all of these sales numbers because I know that they are 100% true. I know that the other campaigns don't want that because it will reveal that they haven't sold memberships. And Patrick Brown's campaign is crumbling. First of all, you all know Patrick. He says one thing to one group, and then he says exactly the opposite to a different group. He is, of course, drowning in scandal at City Hall in Brampton with people asking questions about where money has gone. And recently, half of his caucus supporters have abandoned his campaign to support me. Both Kyle Seaback, former member of parliament for this area, has abandoned Patrick to support me, and so has MP Muse. So that's half of his caucus support. And now there's rumors that his campaign chair might leave him to go run for Alberta Premier. This is because, of course, Patrick has been lying to people, and people are figuring him out. And if he were so confident that he could actually win as leader, why is he still running for mayor? I mean, which is it? You can't be both mayor and prime minister at the same time. So pick a job. And frankly, he hasn't been doing the job of mayor. Money's missing. Housing's too expensive. People are worried about crime. Where's the mayor? You know, if you don't do your job, you don't get a promotion. You get fired. That's the way it works in the real world. So it's time for Patrick Brown to decide what he's actually doing. Because right now, the people of Brampton need a mayor. They don't have one. As for me, I know what I'm doing. I'm running for prime minister to make this the freest country on earth, so that the millions of immigrants who came to this country, including my ancestors, can fulfill their dreams of taking control of their lives, working hard, owning a home, buying nutritious food, fueling their vehicles with affordable energy. That is my purpose in this race. That is why I'm here. That is why 312,000 people have signed up to support me, and that is why I will be the next Prime Minister of Canada. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your vision.
Yeah. So, first of all, you asked about the Israel-Palestine issue. First of all, I believe in peace in the Middle East. I believe that there should be a strong and secure Jewish state in Israel, living side by side in peace and harmony with the eventual creation of a Palestinian state. I believe in a two-state solution, and I believe Canada can be a part of helping to negotiate that with the two parties. And I believe that this is possible. I think Muslims and Jews, Israel and its neighbors all want the same thing, the ability to live in freedom and peace and harmony. And that is the Canadian way, and that is what I will always support. I do support the state of Israel. I do believe it has the right to exist in freedom and in security, and I do believe that the Palestinians have the same right, and I will work as Prime Minister to facilitate peace between both peoples, and not just in the Middle East, but all around the world.
Just to keep everything in quorum, I ask you to raise your hand so I can just call you, otherwise
Yes.
it'll be a wild, wild west. Okay? Brother,
Yeah.
sorry, brother, let's give Brother a chance and we'll come back.
I condemn it. I do acknowledge that, unfortunately, there are some people all around the world who are Islamophobic, and I think that is absolutely wrong. I condemn Islamophobia here and everywhere. Muslims have the right to feel safe and welcomed in this country of ours. And when I'm Prime Minister, I will make sure that that happens. That's why I am reaching out to the Muslim community. I've been attending events at community mosques across the country and continuing the dialogue. You know, the reality is in a big, open, free country, we'll never agree 100% of the time on 100% of the issues. But that doesn't mean we can't talk and live in harmony as neighbors and friends. That's the nature of a free country. And I believe that we are building a bright future. We can build a bright future where Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, everyone feels welcome to practice their own faith, to worship God in their own way in the freest country on earth. I agree, and you know, whether it's, you have to ask yourself, where is Patrick Brown? Municipal policing is his responsibility. Where is the mayor when people are worried about having their car jacked, the car broken into? The mayor should be working with the police to keep people safe. Nationally, where is Justin Trudeau? You know, he's passed laws to reduce the penalties for crime. So now criminals can get out of jail quicker and reoffend again. He's weakened our border security. So, according to the former Toronto police chief, 82% of the guns used in crime in Toronto are smuggled over the border. Why aren't we reinforcing the border and doing spot checks on the packages that come in so that we can keep illegal and dangerous guns out? Finally, we need to reform our criminal justice system. We all agree that if someone makes a mistake when they're a young person, that we should rehabilitate them, give them a chance to go back and be good citizens and contribute. But when someone repeatedly commits violent assaults on their fellow citizens, they should go to jail for long sentences to protect society against their future crimes. And that is why I will toughen up the justice system on violent repeat offenders, while investing in rehabilitation for young people who make an early mistake. You know, you mentioned more broadly how this is not the country that you remember coming to. Yeah. Yes, look, I think what's happening right now is bureaucratic paralysis. We have many families that are kept separate, even though they have a legitimate application for family unification. We have farmers who are begging us to bring in faster immigration for skilled labor. And then we have people who have arrived that are banned from working in their own field. So while we have a shortage of doctors, we have bureaucratic gatekeepers that are standing in the way of opportunities for immigrants and their families. Now, I want to remove those gatekeepers so that we can reunite families, attract high-skilled workers, to fill the more than 500,000 job vacancies that we have across Canada. And I want to recognize officially and license the skilled immigrants who are here but are currently shut out of their professions and trades. But you know, more broadly on the issue of the country that we all came to. So one of my best buddies, he's an immigrant from Italy. Okay, back in 1974, he comes here. His dad is a road construction worker. His mom makes sandwiches over at a senior's home. They bought a nice little bungalow in downtown Ottawa that they could pay off in 7 years with those two working class incomes. Their granddaughter, and by the way, they don't even speak English. Their granddaughter is now going to graduate from university, speaks perfect English. She would never be able to afford that exact same house that her grandparents could buy 50 years ago. How is it possible that our grandkids are worse off than their grandparents? We're going backwards. And that's because we're printing all this money to inflate the price of everything, but we're not making the stuff money buys. We're not building the homes for people to live in. And it means that the working class youth of our country are being shut out of opportunity. We need to give that opportunity back. That's why I'm running. Well, the only one who is confused is Patrick Brown. So first of all, I told the Conservative Party, publish the numbers. Don't take my word for it. I told the Conservative Party, I had my lawyer write them a public letter to say, publish the numbers of every single campaign. Because we each sold our numbers through our own websites. So mine was Pierre4pm.ca. And I said, Dear Conservative Party, you are welcome to tell the whole world how many memberships were sold through that website. Because we know the number. It's 312,000. And we've given breakdowns by province. We reached out to Patrick's campaign. We said, would you please tell the Conservative Party to do the same thing? No, he doesn't want us to do that. And if you don't believe any of that, just ask yourself this. If Patrick Brown was so convinced he was going to win as leader, why is he still running for mayor? Ask him. By the way, is he running for mayor? Does anybody know? Does anybody know where he is? He's running for mayor. All right, you just heard the announcement. Patrick Brown has announced he's running for mayor. So how is he going to be prime minister? Okay.
Jazz leader next.
Yeah, so we do have the numbers. I'll just tell you how it works. It's how our system technically works. So every day since we've had our website portal up, we sell memberships, and the next day the party sends us an email in the morning and says, here's all the memberships you sold through your website. And we add those all up, and over the several months, it added up to about 312,000 memberships. We then, just so that nobody has to take our word for it, we wrote a letter to the party. We said, please tell the whole world how many memberships were sold on our website. And all the other campaigns said, no, we don't want those numbers out. Because, of course, they didn't sell as much as us. And in case of Patrick Brown, he's lying about the number that he claims. But again, I reiterate that if Patrick Brown believed he'd sold enough memberships to win, he wouldn't be running for mayor. And now we've just heard he's still running for mayor. So what does this mean for the Conservative Party federally? Well, let's put it into perspective. Justin Trudeau won a massive majority in 2015. He sold about 250,000. So what's that?
150.
It was one. Well, the party had about 250,000. He sold most of them. That's a lot, but I sold 312,000. So I believe there is a massive surge in support for my vision of making Canada the freest country in the world. You come to my rallies. It's filled with new Canadians, young Canadians, working class people who show up in their steel-toed boots coming right off the construction site to my rally because they want to take back control of their lives. And the Liberal policies of raising your taxes, driving up inflation, making housing unaffordable are destroying our working class youth and are shutting out immigrants. We need a big, open Conservative Party to welcome everybody in and to give everyone a sense of opportunity and renewed hope, and that's what my campaign is doing. I've been to Sri Lanka. I visited right after the big tsunami many years ago. I've been not only to the capital, but also to Jaffna and met with the people. One of the national chair of my campaigns is John Baird, and he spoke out strongly against the Sri Lankan government's abuses of the Tamil people. I have spoken out against the genocide that the Sri Lankan government carried out against Tamils during the Civil War. I will continue to champion freedom and human rights for all peoples, including Tamils, and speak up anytime the Sri Lankan government abuses the rights of Tamils. And I also champion Tamil Canadians who are in this country. Many are themselves professionals who worked as engineers, doctors, architects in Sri Lanka before they came here, but then are unable to get their licenses to work because of government gatekeepers. I'm going to champion those people's ability to get the jobs they deserve and the licenses to work in their field. I want to make this the freest country on earth, and that includes more freedom and more opportunity for Tamil Canadians. Well, you're absolutely right. We call this the inflation tax. And you will wonder why governments love inflation so much. So they get more tax revenue from it, right? If gas prices go up, then the GST they collect on gas goes up. If corporate profits artificially look bigger because of inflation, they collect more corporate taxes. So the government is collecting tens of billions of dollars of additional revenue as a result of inflation. No wonder they're not in a rush to do anything about it. But it's a form of taxation without legislation. You're paying this inflation tax whenever you buy anything at the grocery store or at the gas station. The government is reaping all the benefits. So we have to stop the inflation tax by ending the money printing, the deficits, and the taxes that are driving up the costs. And so your question was, how do we give relief? You want? And
how are you going to give the relief on the taxes, especially the fuel?
Yes.
Which is a critical threat to all over the economy.
So I have announced, I wrote a letter already to the finance minister and said we need not only to get rid of the carbon tax, but we should suspend all gas taxes for this summer. Suspend gas taxes for the entire summer. With prices being this high and the government getting all of this extra revenue, we should give people relief at the pumps by canceling the carbon tax, the GST on gas, and the fuel excise tax all together. That would make it more affordable to fill up your tank. That's just one way. I will also be announcing other tax cuts that you can count on when I become Prime Minister, but I want to save some of those details for a little bit closer to the election.
So last few questions will go with RF, and then.
Okay, so first of all, I believe that you mentioned immigration, and you mentioned what are we doing to take care of the domestic population. Look, I don't think the two are at cross purposes. We are going to need immigration to fill the over 500,000 job vacancies we have in Canada. There's just no way around it. And when I go to rural Canada and I go to a farm, their number one issue is they need workers. We need to bring people to Canada to supply our economy with a skilled workforce for the future. We have room. If you spread out every Canadian evenly in Canada, we would have 33 NFL-sized football fields to ourselves, one for each of us. You wouldn't even be able to see another Canadian. That's how much land we have. We're not running out of space. So I think that where immigration has always been a part of our success as a country, it will always be a part of our success. We just have to get back to removing the we have to remove the gatekeepers to bring in more skilled immigrants and allow them to work in their fields, and remove the gatekeepers to build more homes for all of us to live in. Your second question was about energy. So the question, why is it that we can't produce our own energy in this country? And the answer is that we have an anti-energy law called Bill C-69. If you apply to build a pipeline, you're going to be in for 7 years, maybe 10, of uncertainty. So if you are a pipeline company and you know you can go to some other country and get an approval in 9 months, or you can wait 9 years in Canada, where are you going to build the pipeline? You're going to take the money elsewhere. The companies that canceled the Energy East pipeline, that would have taken 1 million barrels of Western oil to Eastern Canadian refineries. Right now, Europe can't get enough oil to break its dependence on Putin. Imagine if we had a pipeline to get Western oil to St. John and we could ship it across the Atlantic today. That would be money for our workers rather than for Putin's war chest, right? Trudeau killed that project. What did TransCanada do? They changed their name to TC. They took off Canada and they went to Texas. The Kinder Morgan was supposed to build a Trans Mountain pipeline. Trudeau bungled that, so they sold the pipeline to the government, which hasn't got built yet, and they went to Texas. Enbridge, we had a beautiful project supported by the First Nations people in northern BC. Trudeau killed that pipeline. What did they do? They went to the States as well. I think they're also in Texas. All my exes are in Texas, as the old song goes. That's where all our money is going now. So when we're killing pipeline projects, it's no wonder that we then have to import oil from overseas. 130,000 barrels a day show up in Eastern Canada. And we're sending that money to other countries. We should be giving that to our people. And I meet working class young men in Eastern Canada who have to tape up their work boots because they can't afford new ones. Meanwhile, we're giving our money away to foreign oil companies to ship oil across the Atlantic. That is outrageous. And I'm going to repeal that anti-energy law. And I'm going to approve pipelines. I'm also going to approve Newfoundland's plan to increase its production by 400,000 barrels a day so that it can replace all of the oil we're bringing in from overseas and within 5 years ban overseas oil from Canada altogether. Final question was about relationships with other countries. I don't want to go pick fights with other countries. I want to do honorable, free and fair trade with the rest of the world. You know, Canada is kind of like a golden retriever. You know, we're not looking for a fight. We're looking to be friends. If a fight comes looking for us, we'll be ready. But it's not our priority to pick fights. It's our priority to have harmonious relations with the world. That is my priority. I'm not going to go around picking pointless disputes. It doesn't serve our interest. Rather, we should focus on our core purpose, which is to protect our values and our interests, the values of freedom around the world, and prosperity for our people here at home.
So Pierre has a vote to jump on to quickly, but if you want to just do a final summary and final words with our friends from the media before we wrap it up.
Yes, first I want to thank all of you. I hope this is the first of many conversations that we will have. I hope that you found it a frank and open conversation. I love to have these exchanges. Sometimes we'll agree, other times not, but at the same time, I like to be open and transparent with you. Let's build a great friendship. I want to continue. I also believe that politicians in Ottawa spend too much time with the press gallery on Parliament Hill and not enough time with the grassroots media across the country. And that's something I want to change as well. So thank you very much for what you are doing, for your congratulations on your growing audiences. I think it's wonderful that we're diversifying the media in this country. It was too concentrated before, and I want to continue this conversation. Thank you very much, Arpan. Thank you to Bob. Thank you to so many other friends who have helped us sell the 312,000 memberships. Onward to victory. Let's put you back in charge of your life by making Canada the freest nation on earth. Thank you.